you look at the East Asia map as a chessboard with the sea as squares, Taiwan lies right in the path of the strongest peace. To the west is mainland China, a superpower accelerating militarily. To the east is Japan, America's security partner, acting as a Pacific barrier. Rising from the southeast are the Philippines and the vital shipping lanes where the U.S. stations troops. Further away is South Korea, with radars that see across the peninsula. To put it bluntly, Taiwan is not an island. It is the hinge between two worlds. Whoever controls it controls the energy and trade flows from Japan and Korea down to South. In that region, there are four influential powers: China, the US, Japan, and ASEAN. Though ASEAN is really just key countries like the Philippines, but the main roles aren't hard to guess. Beijing wants unification by reshaping. Washington wants to preserve its alliance chain. Tokyo wants to avoid a return to the era of missiles. And Taiwan is trying to do what everyone considers crazy for a small country: resist a giant. China's military conducts landing drills, simulates blockades, uses UAVs and electronic war. Economic sanctions on elections are unfair. If you live in Taipei, this isn't theory. This is the level of pressure felt every day. People sleep knowing that if something happens, they might not have time to. One act of forbearance brings 9 blessings. But here, forbearance doesn't mean forbearance is letting the opponent. In that situation, why do they look to Israel? Because Israel is the only country on the planet that has long lived with neighbors who don't want it to exist. T warnings, they. More importantly, they've proven that a small country can build a defense system that drives opponents mad by not breaking national spirit. T just a tech shield. Not leaving fate in others' hands. Taiwan has started a similar plan. They're building a response system and a layered defense network from the sea to every layer of the app. Strongbow is the first symbol combining long-range warning radar, high-altitude interception, and the mindset of touching the mainland. Simultaneously, they're expanding UAV surveillance, simulating urban warfare, civilian drills, and an Israel-like defense. So every neighborhood, school, and radar station becomes a vital link. Taiwan doesn't dream of winning. They dream of surviving, and in this chess game, survival could be scarier than victory. Israel has never been one to write military philosophy from an armchair. They live where bullets and missiles fly like summer gnats. Ordinary people have the choice to pray or build their own dome to avoid death. That's how Iron Dome was born. It sounds fancy, but is a brutally simple principle. The enemy launches. We see with radar, calculate trajectories in milliseconds, and fire an interceptor at the intersection point. No lot involved. T8 concrete wall, it. When Hamas or Hezbollah fires rockets cheap as fried potatoes, Israel uses a precise system. Tracking radar, a control center assessing threats, then intercepting only missiles threatening residents. In 86 to 90% real combat efficiency that once stunned the world. Many college students tremble more before exams than this interception system. Fire tests gold, adversity tests strength. A rare event for them. Without the Iron Dome, Israel is just a meaningless rock in a political desert. Weapons they're errand. Taiwan looks to Israel not because they like collecting cool tech. They look because they see in a mirror a small country trapped in a siege, facing a much larger enemy. Be crushed by heavy artillery. If Taiwan just flaunted warships and F-16s, they. What needs copying isn't every interceptor missile of the Iron Dome, but the defensive mindset. Layer by layer, detection by detection, forecast by forecast. SY Taiwan. Team misunderstand the anime-sounding name. Inside is the idea of neutralizing threats while they. Defense here is like a White House machine raining right on the cloud layer. Taiwan wants radars to see farther, wants air defense missiles, wants an intelligent target selection control system instead of firing The island's residents have grown accustomed to the sound of PLA aircraft circling over the strait. They live it. If one day the Strongbow's radar lights up signaling a successful interception, is that a feeling of safety or just a reminder that this east could shatter at any moment? S strategy teaches them an uncomfortable truth, dawn. Because for those living near the edge of the war pit, the only wisdom is to look up at the sky and prepare before the fire falls. If we look at Taiwan today, they're not just standing on a small island in the open sea, but on the brink of survival. When deciding to learn from Israel, this journey isn't overnight, but a long series of steps, consuming both intellectual and financial resources, and certainly facing countless obstacles. First, the initial step is research and observation. Israel spent decades developing, testing, and perfecting Iron Dome, the complex radar system, smart intercept missiles, and multi-layers. Taiwan can't copy-paste every missile or radar, but must grasp the mindset. Defend first, intercept from afar, prevent disaster. That's why the strong bow was born, a name embodying the combat philosophy of the Iron Ring, but adjusted for terrain, military situation, and threats for China. Next is the technology development phase. This is when Taiwan must combine engineering, radar software, and intercept missile make. All require massive funding, millions of dollars, and post-quality challenges. Radars must be sensitive enough to identify targets in seconds. Missiles must react instantly. In this process, they also face risks of being monitored, pressured, or even sanctioned by China. No one can guarantee every step is safe, but Israel lived in similar circumstances and understood risk is unavoidable.
S Cooperation Capability ISN.
Israel might agree, both to retaliate against Beijing's betrayal and to strengthen strategic partnerships. However, this requires maximum trust and confidence. If plans weak, everything can collapse, let a net stretch but not yet cast. The next difficulty is live combat. Radars might work on paper, but when Chinese missiles appear, everything will be tested by fire. Taiwan needs to simulate various scenarios, gradually increase complexity. Each test firing must consider civilian safety costs and technology exposure risks. So why, amid countless difficulties, surveillance, warnings, even technological constraints, must Taiwan proceed? The answer is simple yet philosophical. Inaction means accepting being decided by others. Like a farmer standing before a river without building a dam, heavy rain means, ask yourself. When China's PLA accelerates drills near the border, when Chinese missiles test fly over the island and civilians hear the whistling overhead, you here just watch or must you start building your own shelter?
T just risky it.
Some major countries avoid directly providing weapons or sharing secrets fearing escalated tensions. But Israel, with proactive defense thinking, is willing to share experience, not missile by missile, but mindset and long-range defense organization. This is the core Taiwan learns, applying to the strong bow system, intercepting from high altitude before disaster hits the ground. They build a rain-blocking machine instead of standing under armor. Difficulties are obvious, but these challenges build resilience. Israel proved without Iron Dome, they'd just be rocky land in a desert with no future. Taiwan too. Without self-equipped interception capability, they depend entirely on allies, vulnerable to coercion, losing sovereignty. So, despite cost, obstruction, information, this is a survival choice, a way to not bow to overwhelming force. When the strong bow is perfected, the political landscape around Taiwan will change. They'll gain stronger deterrence against China and elevate status to the US, Japan, Australia allies monitor.
T just a missile defense system it.
People will ask, with an Israel-style shield, which side will Taiwan take if regional conflict erupts? They might tighten ties with US and Japan, but still need flexibility with ASEAN, South Korea, and Middle Eastern observers. Finally, despite difficulties, this is the necessary path. In defense strategy, there's no absolutely safe choice, only choices to dare and prepare best. Taiwan is learning to turn vigilance into strength, each radar, each missile into a shield protecting its entire.
Like the journey? Subscribe and join the next expedition.